Now today's, I have selected a verse from Bhagavad-Gita, which is 2.13, and I have named it Never Annihilate, Simply Transmigrate. So that 2.13 is one of the main instruction which Krishna, during the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Krishna imparted that instruction on Arjuna, not only for Arjuna, for everybody. So that is Deina Hasmin Jatha Dehe Kaumarang Jaubanang Jara Tatha Dehantar Prapti Dhiras Tatra Namayati. That means we are talking about soul, Deha, Dehi, and Dhira. There are three key words. Now, I want to give you a little introduction before I start with this slok, discussing this slok. So this introduction it starts with Arjuna, come in the middle of Kurukshetra battle. Krishna takes him to a place where he can see both parties who are present there for fighting. Now, after seeing his close relatives, wanting to fight with him, so he gets really, really bewildered, and due to the family affection, Arjuna was overwhelmed with grief, and he started contemplating on different subject matters, like if all family members will be killed, then who will be there to do the final rites? And all women, who is going to look after them? They will be corrupt. So all these sort of things came in his mind, and he was totally perplexed. So then in the end, 2.7, Bhagavad-Gita 2.7, he started to pray to Krishna to help him. He says, Karpanya dosha pahata svabha Prichamitam dharma samurachitaha Jachreya sannisitam bruhitan me Shishaste hangsa dimam tam prapannam. And this is the starting point where Krishna takes it over. And because here Arjuna is asking Krishna to help him, he is saying that I have lost all my composure due to my weak mind. So please help me what to do, what is the best for me. And so I want to become your disciple. I am a surrendered soul. That is what Arjuna says to Krishna. So after listening to this, Krishna smiles, and then he starts, the Gita starts, all those instructions starts one after another. So then the 2.11, we see Krishna is, taking over. He is saying that asochaya and anvasochastam pragavadang subhasase gatasuna agatasuncha nanusachanti panditaha. So that means Krishna is chastising Arjuna. Why Krishna is chastising? Because to break through his perplexity, Arjuna needs to be chastised. So he's saying that you are talking like a learned man, but you are acting like a fool. Srila Prabhupada is called fool here in his purport, but he's not fool. He's very virtuous person, but he's saying that you are talking like a learned man. But a wise man never get bewildered by living or dead. So this is the context here from 2.11. Then we go to 2.12. 2.12, Nate bahang jatunasam natam neme janadipa nachoibo na bhavishama sarve bhayam atokparam. So that 2.12, that means that Krishna is saying that we exist. We did exist in the past and we will exist in the future. So there is no point being bewildered or being grief-stricken, being really morose. So you don't need to be morose, because we, all of us, we did exist and we will exist in the future. We will never cease to exist. That is the real meaning of this 2.12. Now from 2.12, he takes it to 2.13, which is the main sloka which I'm concentrating on today, which is soul never annihilate, simply transmigrate. So now this 2.13 is the starting of the instruction of Srimad Bhagavad-Gita, is the starting point, because this is very, very important sloka, and it is the main slogan you can call that we are not the body, we are soul. This is the main theme of ISKCON. So this is very, very important slok, and this is very close to my heart also. So I really do like this sloka quite a lot. Now here in this sloka, we see three key words, which is Dehu, Dehi, and Dhiraha. Now Dehu, we need to understand the difference between Dehu and Dehi. Dehu is totally material, which is our body, and due to being material, it is not going to exist for a long time. There are five transformation of this body. Now what are these five transformations? Our body takes birth, and then it grows, and then it stays for a little while, and then it produces byproducts, and then it dwindles and dies. So this is the body. This is the symptoms of the body. Now what happens? There are 8,400,000 species of life. We come to know from scripture that 84 million species of lives. Now, why there are 84 million species of different types of bodies? We have to think about it. Why? Because these Dehi, I mean soul, according to their consciousness, they get different kind of body. Now these sorts of body, 84 million species of bodies, they are made out of 5 elements: earth, air, fire, water, and ether. These are the elements in the material world we find. And these, in different planets, there are different elements which is predominant. Like in sun, maybe bodies are made out of fire. So there are different types of body. So every planet, we come to know from scripture that every planet has got different body, and there are different, but they are made out of 1 or 2 of these 5 elements. So anyway, so these 84 million species of lives, they are divided into 2 subdivisions: Sthavara and Jangama. Sthavara is unmovable, and Jangama is movable. So these, among these, there are like many different types of creatures, like 9 millions of aquatics, 2 millions of trees and plants, creepers, and then 11 millions types of insects, reptiles, 1 million of different kind of birds, and 400,000 of thousands of human, different types of human. So among those, there are subdivisions of humans, lower kind of human beings like Jabanam, Lecha, Hoon, and all those sort of lower grade people who eat meat and all sorts of sinful activities they do. And higher types of human being, they are called civilized. But among those civilized people, not everybody wants to know God. Not everybody wants to know God. So among those God-conscious human beings, there are also gradation. There are also gradation. Like Krishna says, 7.3, Manushanang Sausresu, Kasit Jatate Siddhaye, Jatatamopi Siddhanam, Kosinmang Beti Tattataha. That means among thousands of such human beings who are God conscious, they are looking for perfection, the perfection of life. Among thousands of people, one person may go for perfection. They endeavor for perfection. Among those who wants to get to the perfection, only maybe one person wants to know Krishna. So this is really, really rare that, somebody who wants to achieve Krishna, wants to know Krishna's name, fame, pastimes. So this is very rare. This is really, really rare. So anyway, so these are the human forms of life. So there are different types of human even. So now what happens? Now we are talking about Deha. Deha is all material. And one day it will be finished. There is no value. There is no value of Deha, which is body. Now Dehi is the most important part of a Deha, because due to the presence of Dehi, the consciousness comes in the body. So this Dehi is the real owner of the Deha. Because we think, material conception is that I am the owner of my body, I am the owner of everything, my brain, my hand, my, everything. But what we come to know from scripture is Deha is nothing. Dehi is everything, because Dehi is the owner of the body, which is the fragmental, very minute portion of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we have to be really, really careful when we discuss about this Dehi and Deha, because they are very, very important to differentiate between these two. So then what happens is this Dehi, what is the symptom? Like we have already discussed that what is the symptom of a Deha? It goes through the 5 types of changes, 5 types of transformations. Now, what is the symptoms of Dehi? Dehi's main symptom is there is no birth, no death. No birth, no death. So it remains the same. It doesn't grow. It doesn't die. It doesn't create any further byproducts. Absolutely opposite to the Deha. Now, also, the soul is unborn. Is unborn, is ever existing. It will never die. It is eternal by nature. It is eternal by nature. So, and when the body dies, it doesn't die. It cannot be slain. It cannot be slain, like body can be slain, but it cannot be slain. So, 2.20. Na jayate mriyate ba kadachin Nayang bhutva bhavita va na bhuya ajanitya sasrata hayang purano nahan tehan namane sarire. So this particular slok 2.20 says everything about the owner of the body, the soul, the fragmental portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, so this says that the different owner of the body, which is the soul, is ever existing. So there is no point lamenting somebody is dying, because he is not dying. He's not dying. Whoever is in the deathbed, they are not dying. They are just in the process of changing their body. They are just transmigrating from one body to another body, and doing so, they are rejuvenating their energies. So it's very good for them. So Krishna is instructing Arjuna that don't lament, that these Bhishma Pitamaha and then Drona and all these people, they are noble person. They're noble person. Even if they don't get the spiritual abode, they will still, the doors of the heaven will be always open for them, because they are so noble. So that's why you don't have to lament. You don't have to be perplexed, because whoever has taken birth has to die. So, but soul has got no future, no present, no past, because it doesn't die. So these are the very, very important things which Srila Prabhupada repeatedly instructed us. So this is the main point, main thing in Bhagavad-Gita, which no other religion discusses. This is very important for Sanatana Dharmis. Very, very important to know, very, very important to discuss, very, very important to remember what exactly Krishna meant and repeat that to others also. So my Guru Maharaj also mentioned about 7 days ago, he was giving a Chaitanya Lila class. There he was mentioning that this little soul, the sizes of the soul. The sizes of the soul is 1/10,000 part of the tip of the hair. So what happens? That is like unimaginable. So we cannot comprehend, about the soul and its size and its nature and everything. So what has happened? That particular minute soul has got all qualities of the Supreme Lord. So that's why he doesn't take birth, he doesn't die, he's like everlasting, and all those qualities come from Supreme Lord. Now, what Guru Maharaj mentioned that day also, that minuteness of a soul only for material world. But for the spiritual world, when the same soul liberated and he goes back to Krishna in his abode in Goloka Vrindavan or Vaikuntha or wherever he goes, that particular minute soul expands. That's what my Guru Maharaj said, that he expands into a form. So he takes a form over there. Here he doesn't, he's just inside a body like a driver in the car. But in spiritual world, he takes a form. And also, here we need to mention that when this transmigration takes place, depending on different degrees of consciousness, different forms has got different consciousness. So this consciousness, depending on at the time of the death, what sort of consciousness we are in, it determines our next life or next body. That determines. So it is very, very important that we become Krishna conscious person in order for us to think about Krishna at that particular time of death, because that is the final exam. That is the final exam. No matter what we do during our tenureship in this world, no matter what we do, we have to practice in order for us to remember Krishna, or stay in a position. If we are in coma, Krishna helps us to remember him. Even in our subconscious mind, Krishna can appear. So all we need to do is just practice our Krishna consciousness seriously, sincerely. That's what my Guru Maharaj always says, sincerity, sincerely. So if we are not doing our 16 rounds, minimum 16 rounds every day, so how we expect that we will remember Krishna at the time of death? Because it is all practice. Practice makes person perfect. So that's why we always need to do our prescribed devotional activities very sincerely. Anyway, so now we see different forms. One's consciousness of mind at the time of death determine the next life. This is very important to remember. And now, that's what Krishna also mentions in Bhagavad-Gita 8.6. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavan tajatamte kalevaram tam tamevaiti konteyo sada tadbhavo bhavitaha. So what happens is, one's consciousness of mind determines his next life. So this is the confirmation. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavan. This is the confirmation Krishna is giving us to remember the time of death, what we need to do, what we are supposed to do. So whatever like Bharat Maharaj thought about the little deer, and he became, next life he became a deer. So that is the danger. That is the danger. So now, anyway, we don't have much time. Now I wanted to discuss about a Dhira person also. Dhira person, Dhira, to become a Dhira, you have to be knowledgeable. You have to be knowledgeable. That what is Dhira? First of all, what is Dhira? Dhira, according to Srila Prabhupada, is a sober man. Is a sober man. I don't know. I have tried in the dictionary, but I can't find sober exactly what does it mean. But anyway, what I found out is Dhira means a sober person free from attachment, fear, and anger. That's what I found. Now, that might be wrong. You can tell me later on. But somebody has to be free from attachment. This is very important. Free from attachment means it can be any attachment, family attachment. Somebody likes to study, that is also attachment. Somebody likes to drink alcohol, that is attachment. Somebody likes womanizing, that is attachment. So many types of attachment. Somebody likes to eat, that is also attachment. So all sorts of attachment. That's why, like, we eat prasad. Like 4 regulative principles come from this attachment to protect us from this attachment. These 4 regulative principles. So it is very important for us to maintain 4 regulative principles very sincerely. Again, my Guru Maharaj always says sincerity. Sincerity is the key of success. Because if there is no sincerity, there will be no practice properly. It will be all like broken, broken into pieces. One time I'm practicing this, okay, next day I don't like to do this. And third day, I don't like the second regulation. So I'm doing first regulation, but I'm not maintaining the second regulation. So all this sort of thing, we have to be careful about it. So this attachment is very, very important to remember. Whether we are in an establishment, we have got house, family and everything, but we have to keep ourselves detached from all these sort of nuisances. Now, free from fear is also happens when you are depending on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Without depending, this is something like you are depending somebody as a shelter. So when we take shelter of Harinam or Krishna or Guru or all of them, Guru Shastro and Krishna. If we take shelter of all these three, then we will not have fear. If we read books, if we read scriptures, if we chant properly 16 hours, if we do everything properly, following the 4 regulating principles and everything properly, then there is no fear. There is no fear because we know, this body is nothing. Very soon, we will transmigrate to maybe a better body, or maybe a spiritual body, who knows, It might take millions of years, but eventually we are on the right track. So we will get there, definitely. Only thing we have to be is sincere. The sincerity will take us to a progressive path of devotional activities and devotional services. And then, we don't have to fear. And then anger. Anger is also very, very destructive, I would call it. I mean, anger is very hard to, it is also very, very difficult to control, anger. But one thing, according to my Guru Maharaj and all other gurus and Srila Prabhupada and Shastra, everybody says that anger is good if you apply it for Krishna's service, like Hanumanji. He burned down the whole Lanka. He burnt it down in the ashes, into ashes. So that is good. That is very good. So you go closer to Krishna day by day by doing that. But that is a very rare thing to happen. The best thing to do to control the anger, when the anger comes, divert it to our own self. That, is there any kutinati? Is there any fault in me? It is very difficult. I cannot do it. I'm telling, I'm just giving the instruction from Shastra and Guru, but I cannot do it many, many times. It is the most difficult thing to control anger. But the best thing, if we could divert it towards ourselves, find fault in ourselves, finding fault in ourselves. So that is the way we can get rid of that anger. Now, a dhira person, because we are talking about dhira, so dhira person has a very steady, fixed mind, steadiness and fixed mind on what? On the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, in other words, a person who depends on Krishna, who is constantly thinking about Krishna, he becomes steady. He becomes fixed. He becomes fixed in his devotional life. He becomes fixed in his attitude. And he becomes fixed in every other path of lives. So by practicing all these, he stays unaffected by Maya's attack, the illusory nature's attack, by dualities of this material life. And the best thing is, he is able to withdraw. He is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects. Even if he sees a good-looking man or woman, he is not attracted. He is not attracted at all. If he sees something palatable food, palatable food, he can still think that, no, this is not offered to Krishna. This is not offered to Krishna, so it's not for me. So that's why we Vaishnava, we don't go to hotel. We cook our food. So that is like tapasya. So all this tapasya takes us to the perfection of this life, this human life. Because this human life is very, very important. This is the only form of life which can put us on the right track. Which right track? Going towards the abode of Krishna, which takes us there and which gives us the eternity, away from all this hankering, away from all this dead matter, away from all nasty things, But here I must mention one thing. This Dainosmin Jathade Komara Jobanang Jara, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions that this fragmental part of Krishna, they have got a tendency to fall down in material nature. They have a tendency. That's why they are called Shara. Shara. So Shara means they can fall down. So, but at the same time, this individual soul, completely opposite to the Nirvishesvadi Tattva. Nirvishesvadi, this is the oneness. The oneness. When you liberated, you become one with Lord. But here, Srila Prabhupada, in the purport, he says that this soul, when it's liberated, it stays individual. It doesn't get, it doesn't get inside Krishna's body or in somewhere else, God knows what. But it stays individual. And he stays with Krishna with bliss and knowledge. So it's the complete bliss and knowledge he experiences in the spiritual world. So this is very important in that purport, which Srila Prabhupada says. And then Dhira, I come back to Dhira. Now, this withdrawing the senses from sense objects. How is it possible? Withdraw. How is it possible to, if it is not possible, then we don't become a Dhira. We don't become a Mahatma. We don't become a knowledgeable person. So all these qualities, one after another, makes you a Dhira. So this withdrawal of the senses comes from practice, from practicing, from obeying, and from reading, from participating, from Bhakta Sangha, from associating with devotees. All these things helps us to withdraw our mind from sense objects. And if we are unable to withdraw our senses from sense objects, if we keep doing the same thing, like chewing the chewed, we can never progress. So we have to, it's like the other day Pran Govinda Prabhu was mentioning, is forced meditation. I am not 100% sure exactly what the meaning, but to me, what I understood in my little brain is forced meditation means you have to really a little bit force yourself to practice all these things to become a Dhira. So it's a gradual process. It's not a instant process that, okay, overnight I become a Dhira. No, it takes a lifetime, not one lifetime, maybe several lifetimes it takes to perfect our lives. So that's what. And then how one becomes Dhira? How? There is another way of to know we need to know this aspect, which again is an instruction coming from Krishna from Bhagavad-Gita 2.59. He says, Vishaya binivartante niraharasya dehinam rasavarjam rasapiyasya param drishta nivartate. That means withdrawing the senses from sense object is not a matter of joke. Not a matter of joke. It comes with practices. Now, Dhira, throughout the progress of his spiritual activities, spiritual practices, he has tasted the beauty of Krishna, the name, fame, pastime of Krishna. He has tasted. So, that tasting in that 2.59 is called param drishtva nivartate. That means you need something better. You need something better to forget the worse one. So if you say, for example, if you give somebody is eating what I can say, halwa, some sort of halwa, not very nicely made, it's like less sugar and everything, and then you offer them a rasgulla. A person who likes sweet, they will go for rasgulla. So this is called param drishtva nivartate. That means you have to give them better thing, or maybe the best thing you have to offer them. So that's what Krishna says in this. Visha bina binivartante niraharasya dehina. So if you keep your body, if you keep yourself fasting, no food, that doesn't solve the problem. That doesn't solve the problem, because then when your fasting is finished, you eat double, triple, 10 times. So that gives you all sorts of indigestion and then all sorts of disease and all those sort of things. So it's best, you cannot give up on all these rasa bhajam, rasa piyasa. So, but somebody needs to give you a better thing, taste of better thing. And then you start practicing. Then slowly, gradually, you develop a taste by yourself. And then you carry on doing whatever better you were taught. So that is the way. This is the way we can withdraw the senses from the sense objects. So now this dhira, because he comes to know, he sees, he can see what is the beauty of Krishna. So he doesn't hanker anymore. He doesn't hanker anymore for dead material things. He doesn't hanker because he knows that these are all perishable. They are going to dwindle and die, no matter how beautiful a person is. Think about in old days, how ugly he or she will become. So that's why we need to contemplate on all these sort of things. We need to consider, discussing all these things between, each other, the devotees, association. So here, this is the dhira. So dhira is a sober man, but behind this soberness hides all these sort of things, like, conquering over attachment, fear, anger, and everything. So it's not easy. Nothing is easy in spiritual life. So anyway, so I think we will run late. If Gopal, do you want me to finish here? Haribol? Haribol? Haribol?
Yes, Mataji, you can continue.
You said it's 45 minutes. So it's already...
You can do another 15 minutes. That's okay, Mataji.
Oh, okay. So now this transmigration is the most important aspect of life. And our whole life as a human being, no matter what sort of human being we are, we need to be, it's like a exam. We are preparing for exam. For Bhakti Shastri, I have to be prepared like that. The whole life, our life is preparing for the death. And this slok 2.13 is asking us to be prepared for that particular moment, so we don't glide into wrong sort of body or glide into hellish condition of life. So this is not desirable. Desirable is at the time of the death, we have to be totally prepared for our next life. Because that determines our next body. It is very, 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 very important shloka. So no matter how good looking we are, no matter how educated we are, no matter whether we are a president of United States, whether we are a dog, we are a cat, or whatever we are. But this is a dog and a cat, they cannot do nothing because they are under material nature, they are transmigrating, they are going up and up and up, they are in a cycle, and they cannot be told to become a perfect person. So this is the only shape of life we get as a human, who can prepare for death, who can be prepared for next life. And that is the most important part of our life, no matter what walk of life we are, and how lowly we are. Maybe we are not Brahmin, maybe we are we are born in Mleccha, maybe we are born in really in a degraded situation. But still, if we concentrate, if we can somehow, if we can grab hold of Sadhu, Shastra and Guru and be in devotees association, we are going towards the perfection of life. We are perfecting ourselves. So this is very, very important. And this sloka, this 2.13 is very, very important, and the associated to it, because it can be discussed days after days, this particular 2.13. But the thing is, we have got very short time, and it is a short discussion, we cannot go through all those. But I have just touched base today. I have just touched base of all other related shloka and everything, and they can be further discussed later on, if any opportunity comes. So this 2.13, we go through so many stages of life, from child to boyhood to old age and then die. These, karmis, they call it growth. They call it growth. That's what I was asking Pran Govinda Prabhu the other day in his class, that what is the difference between the growth and the transmigration, because we are calling it like childhood is a body, and then the boyhood is a body. They are separate bodies, we are passing into. So what is the difference? He said that it is something like a cinema, like a cell. I mean, I used to make cell animation, animation cells, and for one movement, it's like hundreds of cells we used to make. And together with all these hundreds of cells makes one movement. So that's what Pran Govinda Prabhu was telling, that it's like one particular phase of your life is like one movement, one part of it. So that's what and I wanted to I wanted to discuss further, but we didn't have time that day. But anyway, so if we think like this is like a cinema going on, our life is like a cinema. So we call every phase of life is a body. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not 100% sure about this, but this is what the idea is. So all these phases of life we pass in this body, soul remains the same. The soul remains the same. And due to the presence of this soul, the consciousness is all over our body, all over our body. We can move, we can talk, we can think, we can jump, we can dance, we can do everything we can do just due to that consciousness. And due to that consciousness, we act like a human also. And due to that consciousness, a dog act like a dog. And due to that consciousness, a cat act like a cat. So this consciousness, my Guru Maharaj was also mentioning that consciousness is very, very important, that sort of consciousness, that different degrees of consciousness, he mentioned. My Guru Maharaj, Srila Japataka Swami Guru Maharaj, he was mentioning the different degrees of consciousness. You can see different degrees of consciousness in different forms. So in different forms, like I said, a dog acts like a dog. So the dog has got a degree of consciousness which tells him to become a dog. So in human life also, if we act like a dog, that means the degree of consciousness I have got from my previous body, which proves my previous body was acting like a dog, or I was a dog in my previous life. So all these things matters. And because in this material world, there's everything dead. Everything dead. All material proves to be dead. At any metal, any kind of elements you take, everything is due to be finished. So we should not really rely on this body. We just concentrate on the Dehi, which is soul, which is the owner of the body. That owner of the body, we need to concentrate, which all of us, we have got the same quality, same quantity, 1/10,000 of a tip of a hair, and all of us from Ant to Brahma. But here, one very important thing, that particular minute fragmental part, such a small portion, that gives the brain of Brahma such powerful it is. It is such a powerful element, such a powerful soul is, that it can make you into a Brahma. So this soul is very, very important. This is the only important thing we need to concentrate on, that the soul, the importance of soul. And importance of soul is very neglected also at the same time, because in material world, nobody wants to know about soul. They are concentrated in their materialistic, mundane activities, very busy. Srila Prabhupada says, whoosh, 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 cars are going here, there, everywhere. So God knows what they're doing, but they're going everywhere. So they're busy. They're busy. Busy doing what? Busy doing all nonsense. So nobody has got time. Nobody has got time. And even so-called religions, they don't have no idea about the science of this constitution of the soul, super soul, and the activities and all this sort of thing. No, they don't care. They don't give a damn. But as we are one of the most fortunate people. We somehow or the others, we have accumulated Sukriti. So this life, we come to know what is Dehu, what is Dehi, who is Dhira, and all those sort of things. And with devotees association, we can further grow into this matter and then perfect our lives altogether and go back to Krishna. Because he has nothing to take. This is not a, Srila Prabhupada says there's nothing to take from this material world. This is not a place where a gentleman or woman can live properly. Look at this Bangladesh. What is happening everywhere in the world? It's like non-stop nonsense, non-stop disturbance, non-stop agitation, non-stop every nuisance is happening in the world. So this is not a place to stay forever, even though if I'm ready to stay forever, I'm willing to stay forever like a karmi. No, one day Srila Prabhupada says, one day you will be kicked out. You'll be kicked out. So nothing is mine, nothing I can call is mine. Even my body is not mine. So how can I call the house I built, the car I bought, they're mine. Nothing is mine. It's like straws in the water. We come together and then we separate. It's like that. In the time, we come together and then we fall apart. So this is the way it is. So we have to be very careful, but thank you so much for giving me this chance to discuss a little bit about the Dehu Dehi and Dhira, and how to avoid all these circumstances, and then how to better progress in our spiritual life, and perfect our life and all those. So forgive me, please forgive me if I have done anything wrong. I know this is very, I haven't given any class so far, but I did a little bit in UK, but given chance, I will, definitely like to participate. And thank you so much, all these Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis who are, who are listening or whatever. And thank you very much for the management. Thank you very much for Gopal Radhe Prabhu for arranging all these. And then please forgive my shortcomings. And Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. And if you want to ask anything, you can, a quick one. If I can't answer, then I can forward it to my seniors.
We can take some questions and comments. Hari Bol.
Gopal.
Yes, any questions, comments?
No, thank you so much, Mataji. This is a nice steps. All of us are taking, by the inspiration of His Grace Pranu Govinda Prabhu. I feel really happy that all Matajis are coming forward to share their knowledge, uplift all the community devotees. I really thanks to you. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. So Gopal, this sent. Okay.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Okay, Gopal. It looks like nobody, most of them left maybe.
Vibhav. So, is there no more question or comments, anybody? So, I think, Mataji, we can end over here.
Okay, okay, Gopal.
Thank you so much, Mataji. You speak very, very wonderfully. And it was really, really nice to hear from you. You know, I can understand that, how much you always associate with your Guru Maharaj, always listening to his classes. We can come to see and hear. Sometimes when we hear devotees, we can understand that, yeah, there is, little bit of rust or something, because they are not always hearing from, continuously. But from you, it's like fresh water. Like, you've been always hearing and regularly attending, and so that is why, it's very, very wonderful to hear from you. It's refreshing. So thank you, Mataji. We hope to hear more from you. Thank you very much to all the devotees also for joining today
Thank you
in
so
this
much.
Harikatha festival. Tomorrow again we'll have another speaker. Let me see if I can get the name. Who's speaking tomorrow? We have wonderful Harikatha festival tomorrow as well. And tomorrow we'll be hearing, yes, from Radhika Priya Mataji, another wonderful devotee who is born and brought up in the temple of ISKCON. So we'll also hear from them. Tomorrow we'll hear from her. So I'll end here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.